we were waiting in line to get back up, and I was like, okay, Aaron, like, pose. So it looks like it's just him on the air stairs, and he's doing like a pose like this, and he has on.
He's got his fingers out saying peace for those who are listening.
He's wearing like a button-up shirt and has a, what's the hat called? That type of hat that he was wearing.
Fedora?
Yeah, he had a fedora that someone like at the hotel gave him because they were like, this will look so good on you.
He is the luckiest man alive.
He is the luckiest kid.
He is the luckiest.
So,
he is absolutely
the luckiest
person.
So that is an example of bougie.
You know, it's funny because you referred to this relationship as dating, and my team can tell you that probably ad nauseum they're sick of how I always correlate that. But if the dating landscape has people swiping on a Tinder or a Bumble, and that's the mentality of not a match, and they're quickly flipping through that, think about that mentality in the workforce and the teams that you managed, coupled with someone that's never seen that. And so when we talk about the disparity of understanding for each other, it makes sense.
So what I'm hearing you say is just enjoy the ride, enjoy the journey. And then what I might offer, I'd say is, well, but it's also important to know if you're driving to Los Angeles, or you're driving to New York, or you're driving to, I wouldn't recommend driving to Prague from the US. That's probably not going to work very well.
Not yet.
But having a destination, I think, is important for people because it gives them a sense of, where am I going?
But start working on your mental and emotional state today, and that will pay dividends for you in your career, your relationships, your life. And I have many tools and tips for the mental and emotional state. It starts with, you could start a meditation practice. You could start with a gratitude practice. Gratitude works here and gets you in the present moment. So many of us don't have a gratitude practice. It could be in the shower, it could be in the car, it could be writing down. The toughest part is tell somebody you really care about how grateful you are. What that does is put you in a space of the present moment. You're not in the future thinking, planning, or thinking about the past. So a gratitude practice, a meditation practice, start reading. If there was any one thing I could recommend, start reading yesterday.
So here I was in a new job, and I made a commitment to my wife. I will be home for dinner, and we will have family time every night. Well, the way that I was able to make that commitment sticky is I put a block on my calendar. I wouldn't take any calls or meetings after 4:30. Now, some of my colleagues were suspicious of that. How's that going to work? Well, what happened was I made everyone that wanted to get on my calendar kind of conform to my needs rather than the other way around. So when they tried to get a meeting at 4:30, my response was, hey, I'd love to meet with you. I can't actually at 4:30, but tomorrow I'm available at 8, 9, or 3:30. Which one of those options might work for you? So I put that block on that time because that was sacred time, but I offered choices immediately. Now, they were my choices, but I gave options.
I think one thing that you've said, I think more than once, is that working for a Fortune 500 or a large company is one of the most dangerous career things you can do.
I did say that.
Yes.
I would say that again today.
And the idea being, I think it's true that a lot of big companies honestly aren't nimble enough to manage what's going on, right? Before the break, we talked about VUCA, the world being very volatile. And I kind of disagree with that. And my argument would be, no, I completely agree that we should all take extreme ownership of our careers, and we should constantly be adding value. Treat your manager at work like a customer.
This is The Brandon Smith Show, and I'm your host, Brandon Smith. And of course, the purpose of the show is one singular thing: to help you live a life that much more free from dysfunction. This is a special show, Whitney.
It is.
There are balloons on this show.
The crowd goes wild.
Because, you know what number show this is?
100.
100.
100.
This is our 100th.
High five
100th,
to you, my friend.
High five to you too. 100th show. Wow. Seems like just yesterday I was bombing on the very first show.
Does it? Because you always say you felt like you've known me for like 1,000 years.
I do. I've known you. Yeah, that's true.
Okay. I'm not even that old.
No. I'm not 100. Although you may think I look 100. I'm not 100. So for our show today, since it's our 100th show.
Yes.
We
have all 100 guests here.
Kind of, sort of. So we have gone through all the life hacks. So for everyone listening to the show, I'm assuming this is not your first time listening. If it is, you're in for a special treat. If you've heard any shows prior to this with guests, you know that I always ask a guest for a life hack. So what's your one life hack to help us live a life that much more free from dysfunction? And so with some wonderful help from our amazing creative director, Emily. We put down all of the life hacks.
Yeah.
And we got to pick. So we have our, I have my 5. Do you have your 5?
I have 6.
Yes. Okay. We won't get to 6. So unfortunate for Whitney.
Bonus.
So we're going to go through them today, and we're going to kind of share what were some life hacks that stood out for each of us over the last couple of years as we've done these shows. And yeah, that's going to be our show today. And there's probably going to also be a special appearance on the show by a puppy. You got a puppy.
We did.
And what's the name of your puppy?
Sweet Pea.
Sweet Pea.
Mm-hmm.
And Sweet Pea is pretty sweet.
She is.
Sweet Pea reminds me of Walter, who's my youngest of my 2 dogs.
Yes.
And she looks like she could be Walter's sister. So she's going to have to make
that
an appearance
might
on the
have
show, too.
influenced our decision when we saw her, because
that's-
we're kind of fans of Walter and Ellie.
Yeah.
So
I like them. But I like Sweet Pea a lot, too.
Thanks.
She's great. She's going to have
She
to make an
is.
appearance.
Okay, done.
So why don't we get started? Oh, and for everyone listening, by the way, I did not do a great job introducing my amazing co-host,
Oh, thanks.
producer, rock star extraordinaire. Say that
Thanks.
3 times fast.
Yeah.
Whitney Mendoza.
Special intro for a special show.
Special show. So why don't we start with our... you can't see my list. I don't want you to see it.
I think you should go first, though.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you should go first.
All right, I'm going to go first.
All right.
This was a really, really freaking hard experience. Like,
Yeah, I
this was
know.
really hard. Like,
We
I'm
waited
still...
for like 5 hours for
I'm
you to
still
pick your
not...
5.
I'm still not quite sure on my last one.
Oh, okay.
But I'm going to start. And so I because I like all these, I'm going to start with one of the earlier shows.
Okay, throwing it back.
I'm going way, way back in time. So Tom Smith, who I had on a couple times.
Yeah.
He had a life hack, which I've still remembered, and it's really, really a funny life hack.
Well, Tom's a funny guy.
He is a funny guy. He's a funny guy. And so his life hack is safety third.
Oh, I remember this one. Yes.
Safety third.
Yeah.
And so it was this funny thing that he would do with his family, like
Right.
an inside joke. And they'd always say safety third whenever they would be talking about stuff they needed to do. And what he kind of said was have an inside joke for your family. So everyone kind of knows what it means. It's just a good way to lighten the mood. So if things
Yeah.
are really super serious, you're like, you got to get your homework done. You got to do, and remember, safety third. It's just a funny kind of way to lighten the mood. And so I thought it was really good.
Yeah. I liked that one.
Inside jokes, I think, are really important for teams.
Yeah.
But I think they're even more important for your family. Just have funny little inside jokes that you can laugh about. It just keeps the mood light.
Yeah.
So that's my number 5. How about you?
Oh, well, you know what? You might have just cut me because I don't think I numbered mine. I just picked out ones that stood
Well,
out
that's
to me.
okay. Well, then which one do you want to start with?
Okay, so I'm going to start with this from a more recent show, Tommy Breedlove.
Okay.
And he said to practice gratitude daily. It puts us in a love space and makes us notice what we already have. So I really liked that last part because a lot of times what some pieces are that we talk about on the show is someone feeling like they're missing something.
Right.
So when we get into like ask the therapist, it's something that they're missing either in their job or personal life. And if you start from a place of gratitude, it helps you to see what's already there because a lot of times we have so much already that we're to be grateful for. And at the moment we might be focusing on what has us upset at the time, which it is. It's so important. I know you have to have a job and bring in money and take care of your family, but this just put a different perspective. And he asks us to look at what we already have. What do you already have to be grateful for?
What are you grateful for?
My new puppy.
I knew you were going to say that, but we should bring Sweet Pea on the show.
Okay. She can come on. I'm
Okay.
totally fine. Is she coming?
Can we bring her on the show?
Emily's bringing her.
Here she comes. Oh, I won't be able to bend down and get her. Here she comes.
Uh-oh.
Can you get her? She's okay. So how old is she? She's like 3 months old.
Just about. She was born January 1st.
All right. So if you're listening to the show, you're not going to get to see Sweet Pea. So you'll have to check out pictures. If you're watching the show,
She's trying to talk to you.
she's right there. She's very excited about the.
She is.
She's yeah. Maybe this was not a good idea. I don't know.
That's all right.
I just love puppies.
She's doing
No,
pretty
this was good. No,
Yeah.
Isaac was all about to rescue her. No, let's leave her on the show.
I don't know about that.
No, we don't. Well, hand her over to me.
Okay, you're going to hold her the whole time?
Yeah, I can hold her.
Okay, all right. Here she comes.
Oh, she's on the table. She is tiny. How big is she? She's going to be like 15 pounds?
Probably. Feels like 60.
All right. Okay, I got her. So I'm ready. So we're grateful for Sweet Pea.
We are grateful for Sweet. You set me up for that. That's what that was.
I did.
You're grateful for Sweet Pea too.
I was looking for a reason. She is licking all over my face.
You're a very brave man through sitting through this segment with her.
She's awesome. I love dogs, so she's great. So all right, I'll give you my second one.
Okay, number 2.
Number 2. So we had Randy Hain on the show a bunch of times, and he's a good friend of mine. And Randy always has something wise. There's one that he's been preaching, and I've heard him preach it a bunch when we've gone out and worked with other people. And it's one that I'm working on. So some things I picked because I was able to put it in practice.
Yeah.
Some things I picked because it's aspirational.
Yeah.
This one's probably a little more aspirational.
Okay.
It's a simple phrase, but it's really powerful. Put air in your calendar. Just put air in your calendar. So
that is a good tip.
Don't block things off like meeting to meeting to meeting to meeting to meeting. Just put a little air. So you get a chance to breathe, reset. It also gives you flexibility to be able to take on emergencies. You're smirking at the dog. Is the dog too distracting?
A little.
Oh, she just cried because she's looking at you.
I know. I mean, okay.
Isaac's. We're okay. We're okay. So anyway, I thought that was really good. It's a good one that I'm trying to work on. Are you trying to work on that, Sweet Pea?
She's like, I got a lot of time in my calendar.
She does. She
okay.
does. How about you?
My number 2?
Number 2.
Okay. This is from Jacinta. Jacinta.
Yep. Harb.
Okay, thank you. I was going to try, and I was like, I'm going to kill her last name. I'm sorry, Jacinta.
What's hard about Harb?
I think I wrote it down as herb.
Herb.
I'm sorry, Jacinta. Thanks for saving me, Brandon. All right. The negative in life will happen. Don't let anyone or anything steal your sparkle. So
I can see why you picked it.
Oh, why?
You like the word sparkle.
I do, but look, okay.
That was why.
So, but if you remember Jacinta on the show, and if you haven't, go back and watch. Her business is Sparkle New You. Yes.
Yep.
And she embraces that like fully. Like she had we were talking like 20 bracelets on every arm. Her belt was sparkly. Her phone case was sparkly. And I really love how she went all in on all of that. And she was just, stuff's going to happen, right? So this is another one I would say similar to what you were implementing with Randy.
You're trying not to laugh. Sweet Pea's climbing up my shoulder.
Yes.
She's like, I am ready to get down. All right, Isaac, I think we're going to ask for relief. She's like, I don't want to sit here anymore. I'm going to go do puppy things. She's off to go do puppy things.
But I love how Jacinta, she embraces here that things are going to happen.
Yep.
And you have to carry on. And you have to be you. And don't let it negatively affect like your feelings or your positive outlook on life. So she's saying, don't let it dull you. Keep your sparkle.
So we're getting from you so far a theme going on. You got like this,
figured you were going to pick up on that.
Positive affirmation. Mm-hmm. Don't let others get you down. Sparkly sparkle.
Yeah.
More sparkling. Okay.
Your neck is a little.
I know. She got me. It's okay. Puppy paws and puppy teeth are.
Well, I was going to tease you earlier the way you were holding her because I thought maybe you wanted another spot on your nose to match where Walter.
Thank you for remembering that.
One time.
Yeah. When Walter was little.
What episode was that?
I don't know. I blocked that one out. Wasn't that long? Maybe it was actually. It's probably about a little over a year ago.
Yeah. See, there you go.
I went down to give him a kiss and he bit my nose.
Very important.
Okay. All right. My next one.
Yep. Number 3 for you. What's your number 3?
I'm gonna pull out Abby Smith on number 3.
All right,
my
going
daughter.
Celebrity status.
I know celebrity status. She had a couple good ones that I liked, and so but she had keep things in perspective.
Nice.
So, and I think that's good, and I think it's very true for her in being a high schooler and getting ready to apply for college. That people can anchor on that stuff being more important than it really is. But I think it's just a good reminder for all of us. Keep things in perspective. because we live in a world where time's everyone's most precious resource and everything's urgent all the time. And it's easy to start to think that this thing in front of me is the most important thing in the world.
Yeah.
When really there's a lot of other things more important. That then goes back to one of your earlier life hacks, appreciate the stuff that you got.
Yeah. I would also say that applies to, is she Gen XYZ?
Gen Z.
Elemental P. She's Gen Z.
Yeah. You know what's funny, by the way? Side note. So boomers had millennials. Millennials are the children of boomers.
Yep. That'd be me.
And so boomers, big name because, the baby boom after World War II.
I'm sorry, let me clarify. Me meaning millennial. I'm not a boomer. I thought I'd better throw that out there. Okay.
So
proceed.
Those two generations get nice fancy names. My generation gets Gen X.
Which is why I cannot remember them.
My kids' generation gets Gen Z. I feel a little bit like shade's been thrown my way.
That's usually why I have to go
Gen
through
Z.
every letter of the alphabet before I get to the right place, which takes a little while. Okay, so that being said, though, they are very much the social media generation.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that millennials are, but so that also plays to me in the sense of, since they are online so much, keep that in perspective as well, right? Because we talk about how you see lights, camera, action on social media, but when we really know, life's not perfect, but we only put the perfect pictures out there.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that's right, putting that in perspective. And also, I think what's also so hard for that generation in particular, Gen Z, but even a little bit of the millennial generation too, is that we still haven't quite figured out what's okay on social media.
Yeah.
So we went from where not everyone had a voice because, you couldn't just put your voice out in the world, to then social media opening it up and being everybody can say whatever they want to whenever.
Right.
And I'm not sure I particularly believe in that either. I don't think everyone should be able to just go out in the world and just spew hateful, mean things to another person just because they want to.
Yeah.
I don't think that's okay.
Right.
And so keeping it in perspective too, that, if you cyberbullying and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
I think absolutely. Okay, so we hit break.
All right. So we're going to save our next two.
We come back, we're going to do your number 3 because we haven't gotten your number 3.
Oh, that's true. My 3 and your top 2.
That's right. So we're like halfway.
Okay.
You're not going to have time for your 6. Told you.
I'm working in there.
Told you, folks. All right, so stay tuned. We're going to come back for our 100th show, and we're going to hit our top 5 and go out, march all the way down to number 1 on our life hacks. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hey, this is Brandon with your coaching minute for the week. So one of the very simple tips that I give my clients that I find to be extremely helpful and beneficial with their direct reports, so for those manager clients of mine, is to do this. So at some point in the year, often about halfway between the time you give the performance review and the next performance review, so that 6-month mark, during your one-on-ones with your direct reports, at the end of the one-on-ones, I want you to ask your direct reports the start, stop, continue question. So in other words, you ask them this: what can I start doing to support you better? What can I stop doing that's getting in your way? And what can I continue doing that will help support you more? And what they come back to me and tell me is they say, oh my gosh, it was so amazing to hear not only the feedback, but how different each of my direct reports are and what they need from me. So think about a time this year when you can do that. Now, one more important thing around this tip: make sure you let your direct reports know that you're going to do that so they can think and prepare prior to that meeting. I promise you'll not only feel better, but you'll thank me for doing that. So that is your coaching minute for the week. I look forward to hearing how it goes. Welcome back to the Brandon Smith Show. Of course, I'm your host, Brandon Smith. And if you were joining us just now, you missed our top, 5, 4, and number 3 on our life hacks. So we are marching down our list from number 5 to number 1. And you and I both talked about this. This is kind of hard. It's hard to rank these from 1 to 5.
It is.
So I mean, even as I'm going through these, I'm like, gosh, I like that one.
I know.
But that one too. So we just hit number 3, which was Abby Smith, and we talked about keeping things in perspective. That was my number 3.
Yes.
What's your number 3?
Mine comes from Ken Keene.
Oh, you smile when you say his name. Ken Keene.
I really enjoyed Ken's entire episodes. And I believe you've had episodes
we've
twice.
had him on twice.
Yes. And so that's really the only time that I've met him
Great guy.
personally.
Great guy. Humble guy.
Yes.
Retired general from the Army.
Yes. And I picked up on all of those things. And we're kind of going on this theme too about intentionality. He's very intentional in everything he says. Like you can tell he kind of thinks about it before he speaks. And so that really ties into his life hack, which was think about how you start and finish your days and be intentional. So think about the beginning.
Your life hacks are kind of better than mine. I mean, they're all good.
I didn't do them.
You know what I like about yours?
So quickly.
Mine was, I took on a whole bunch, like almost like a little bit of a stew. Like they were all like interesting. And I'm going to hit some more that are very tactical. Yours were more about how to be in the world. I'm feeling kind of inspired.
Thank you.
Good.
I did my homework, Brandon. I did not take this task lightly. Emily did a very good job of putting all these together. And these are the ones that stuck out to me. But you know what is so funny is they're also the ones that the show itself kind of stood out in my mind as we've gone through. Because we've had so many great guests. I mean, everyone that comes in just has some awesome stuff that they say. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I never thought about it that way. So it was fun. I enjoyed doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Well, and there was a lot of consistency. Some of these themes would be over and over and over again. Okay, number 4 for me. Or number 2 for me.
Yeah,
number 2 for me.
You're number 2.
My 4th one, number 2.
Okay.
Again, hard to do these in any kind of order. So Jennifer Kahnweiler, who focuses and specializes on introverts, that's kind of her research study. And ironically enough, she's a self-professed extrovert. So I think it's more she studies introverts because she's curious about them.
Yeah.
And she's written books on introverts. That's kind of her focus area. And her life hack was take quiet time for yourself each day. Take quiet time for yourself each day. And I don't do that. Probably goes into my one earlier that I picked with Randy Hain about putting in air in your calendar.
Yeah.
So I'm probably getting a theme of a little more aspirational here. But yeah, I thought that was a really interesting one. Take quiet time for yourself every day.
You know what's interesting about that one to me?
What?
Is you have to be intentional about that as well.
Are you complimenting yourself?
No.
Are you trying to tie it back into one you've already picked? Are you trying to say that yours is better than mine?
Trying to tie it back into Sweet Pea.
All right.
So like, for example,
we could bring her back on the show.
Well, we will.
She's always scratched one side of my neck. I got another side
that's true. Okay.
Ready.
So I really I'm a morning person anyway, so I enjoy getting up early, but I really like getting up and taking her outside. It's very quiet. It's a little bit cool. It's just she and I kind of walking around outside and enjoying the morning and slowing down a little bit. And we have to do the same thing in the afternoon, right? Because like in business, in life, you get busy and it's this all the time. And she makes me slow down. Like she makes me slow down. And that's kind of it's my time with her, but it's also time for myself. Because there's nothing else distracting me. It's just the birds in the morning. And
that's good. So I did not pick this life hack, although it was in my list of ones to select because it was hard to narrow these down. But Lindsay Fetters, who came on the show, who's won the Westminster Dog Show.
Yes, I almost picked hers. I know which one it is.
She said practice consistency.
Yes.
Which goes to that point, right? Having those routines.
Yes.
Really important.
Dog included.
But I think that extends into life.
Yeah.
You know, if it's family, kids want to see routine. If you're a leader, you know, all the research around that shows the worst kind of boss to work for is the inconsistent one. So be consistent, have those kind of routines and schedules with flexibility, but have those routines.
Yeah.
So, it's great. You kind of gave another nod.
Okay. That was your bonus. So we're totally going to fit mine in.
Tied into a dog, too. Same time.
Boom.
See how I did that?
Okay.
All right. So you are down to your number 2.
My number 2. Okay, this one really is tactical, and you probably have this on your list in some form or fashion because this is the one that we constantly bring up and that I'm constantly still working on. Because on one of the shows, I declared that I was going to get in the bed at a certain hour at night and get up at a certain hour at night. And then we got into how, like, you were like, Whitney, that's a terrible goal. Anyway, Travis Daumert had a better goal, and that was get 8 hours of sleep. So a solid 8 hours. So if that means you need to go to bed at 8 o'clock because you get up at 4, or whatever the case is, 8 hours of sleep.
Yep. Well, and we had multiple guests on there that preached
Yeah.
that. Dr. Arifa Casaboy, she talked about how what doctors are starting to use now is the first question they're asking patients is how many hours of sleep you get.
Yeah.
Wanting to see at least 7.
Yeah.
But 8's a great goal.
Yeah. And
How you doing on that?
no comment.
That's what I thought.
But I will tell you, I have noticed.
You know what it requires?
8 hours of sleep?
Intentionality.
And consistency?
And consistency.
Well, there you go. I need to work on this. How about you?
Oh, I sleep like a champ.
Oh, no, I don't believe it.
It's
8
true.
hours?
Heck
Mr.
yeah.
Smith?
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Oh yeah. Emily, can I get an amen?
Close.
She says close. It's probably more like 8.5, 9. So doesn't really technically count as 8 hours.
Oh.
I nap like I'm a nap world champion. Olympic quality napper.
Okay. Well,
I could take a nap right now under this table. You could be like, Brandon, go to sleep. Okay, turn it
Now,
off.
excuse me while I go on Amazon to find a gold medal for that.
That
Yep.
was not very nice.
Laughter from the crowd.
Yeah, it was not very nice.
All right. Are we down to number 1?
We are down to number 1.
And my bonus that I'm totally going to fit in. You want to go? Well, we should save your number 1 for the final number 1.
I think
do
you're right.
You want my number 1?
Yes.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
John Kim. Shout out to John Kim.
Shout out to John.
All right. Kind of goes back into a little bit of my other ones with the theme. Don't worry fruitlessly about stuff you can't change. I loved that word, fruitlessly.
Don't worry fruitlessly.
Yes. It's kind of like the saying my grandmother used to say, you've probably heard it, about rocking in the chair. You can rock all day long, but you're not going to go anywhere. That's really like worrying. You stew and I'm so worried. And what?
How old are you again?
What does that have to do with anything?
I don't know. It just sounds just.
I do have a rocking chair on my porch.
Do you?
I do. I rather enjoy it. Me time. # me time.
So you're saying keep things in perspective?
All right, I'll let you have that one.
Be intentional?
Yes. Set
I like that one. That's great.
goals about the start and finish of your day.
I don't know. There's so many that I want to do for number 1. I have a hard time picking just one. This is really where I got stuck. Getting down to this.
I can go over my bonus.
We're gonna do that.
Okay.
We're gonna do a couple final ones because we've got just a little bit of time.
Okay. Yeah, well, you already had your bonus, so we're definitely going to
So
fit mine in.
Reggie Hammond came on my show,
I was
and
making sure that wasn't
I
mine.
love Reggie, and he said, "Have an R&D budget for yourself."
Oh,
So
that one's good.
and I like that because I've been working on that this year. I've actually went to a little conference and I paid for it out of my own pocket, and I normally don't do that for myself. I'm so busy,
yeah.
doing work. I'm not spending time investing in me.
Right.
And so I feel like I've got room to improve on that, but I'm moving on that. I think it feels good. It feels good to do that.
Time for yourself?
Yeah. But not just, vacation is time for yourself, and there's other ones that you can do that are time for yourself. But I like
that's true.
this one specifically, what do you want to get better at, or what do you want to learn?
Yeah.
And go invest in that. And I think that's
Nice.
good. I don't do that enough.
Yeah. Very good.
So that would be, I guess, my last one. You already did your last one. So how about your
did.
bonus?
My bonus?
Yeah.
Harold Lewis.
Oh, good old Harold.
And he kind of had 2 parts to his. So the first was assume positive intent always.
Yep. I like that one. That was on my list too.
Good. And be kind. So the 2 really go together, right? Like the assume positive intent is almost like kind of innocent until proven guilty. You've got to give a little bit of leeway. Assume that whatever someone did, we've even talked about this before on the show where, okay, I work remotely and I come back to the office and there's notes all over my computer or my desktop about where are you skipping out again when the person, was at home working. You don't always know what everyone's going through or what they're doing. So until you get to the point where you can sit down with that person one-on-one and talk to them about it, you should assume that they're innocent and not guilty of committing whatever crime.
I've heard this a bunch recently. Maybe I've just become in tune to it now that he said it. I've heard people say it that way. I've also heard people say assume noble intent. Kind of like positive intent, but noble intent. Same idea. But I think that's really good. All right, so I feel like I need to add one more, but I'm really struggling. There's so many good ones. So it could be everything from like Kathy Fayok, who was my book coach, talked about putting it on your calendar. If you really want it done, put it on your calendar. Tricia Malloy talked about be your own best friend and cheerleader, practice positive affirmation and self-talk daily, which I think is great. I mean, there are just so many good ones. So I will end with Carrie McGee's just because I love the good way to kind of end the show. And she said, dream big. Think about what you need to be doing now in your health, finances, and network to get you there. So dream big. I like that. You know, it's a good way to end the show. 100 shows is big. And now I've got to dream bigger. 1,000 shows.
Done.
1 million shows.
Done.
1 million shows. Now we just got to figure out how to get there.
Well, thanks for having me along for the awesome ride, Brandon.
I am so glad you were able to come on the show today and bring Sweet Pea. It was really about Sweet Pea.
Yeah, well, there you go. Had to fit the zinger in. I mean, it wouldn't be the 100th episode without that. That's okay. I know. Well, Sweet Pea, I'll put her on the mic next time.
Whitney, you have been awesome and amazing on all these shows that we've done, all the workplace therapy shows. Who would I pick on? Really, I can't pick on my guests. I have to be nice to them. You let me just have some fun. So I appreciate that.
No problem.
That should be
anytime.
another life hack. Find someone you can pick on. It'll make you smile.
Will it?
I don't know. It makes me smile.
Okay.
All right. And thank you for listening. And thank you for being on this ride with us. And of course, keep us posted on what are the shows and topics that you want to hear more about. I mean, we're on a mission to get to 1 million shows. I've just decided that. So, and the shows are all about you and how to help you. So, of course, catch a new show each Sunday at 7:30 p.m. on iTunes.thebrandonsmithshow.com and live on Facebook.com/Brandon Smith WPT for the Workplace Therapist. And if you haven't gone to the Workplace Therapist, check it out. That's where we have all the old shows. We've got blogs, links to other resources and articles, all there for you. And if you've enjoyed today's show, we certainly hope you have. Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. That's how others find it. And that's how we can continue to refine and make the show better and bring more people into our tribe. It's all about fighting workplace dysfunction and dysfunction in general. So thanks again for listening. And until our paths cross again, have a great week and an awesome life.
Yay!